Welcome to Positive Atheism English Channel. Today I am going to read out you an article on Science Can Answer Moral Questions, which is written by Mr. Sam Harris. Now it's generally understood that questions of morality, questions of good and evil and right and wrong are questions about which science officially has no opinion. It's thought that science can help us get what we value, but it can never tell us what we ought to value. And consequently, most people probably here think that science will never answer the most important questions in human life, questions like what is worth living for, what is worth dying for, what constitutes a good life. So, I am going to argue that this is an illusion, that the separation between science and human values is an illusion, and actually quite a dangerous one at this point in human history. Now, it's often said that science cannot give us a foundation for morality and human values because science deals with facts and values seem to belong to different spheres. It's often thought that there is no description of the way the world is that can tell us how the world ought to be. But I think this is quite clearly untrue. Values are a certain kind of fact. They are facts about the well-being of conscious creatures. Why is it that we don't have ethical obligations towards rocks? Why don't we feel compassion for rocks? It's because we don't think rocks can suffer. And if we are more concerned about our fellow primates than we are about insects, as indeed we are, it's because we think they are exposed to a greater range of potential happiness and suffering. Now, the crucial thing to note here is that this is a factual claim. This is something that we ought to be right or wrong about. And if we have misconstrued the relationship between biological complexity and the possibilities of experience, well then, we would be wrong about the inner lives of insects. And there is no notion, no version of human morality and human values that I have ever come across that is not at same point reducible to a concern about conscious experience and its possible changes. Even if you get your values from religion, even if you think that good and evil ultimately relate to conditions after death, either to an eternity of happiness with God or an eternity of suffering in hell, you are still concerned about consciousness and its changes. And to say that such changes can persist after death is itself a factual claim, which of course may or may not be true. Now, to speak about the conditions of well-being in this life for human beings, we know that there is a continuum of such facts. We know that it's possible to live in a failed state where everything that can go wrong does go wrong, where mothers cannot feed their children, where strangers cannot find the basis for peaceful collaboration, where people are murdered indiscriminately. And we know that it's possible to move along this continuum towards something quite a bit more idyllic, to a place where a conference like this is even conceivable. And we know that there are right and wrong answers to how to move in this space. Would adding cholera to the water be a good idea? Probably not. Would it be a good idea for everyone to believe in the evil eye, so that when bad things happen to them, they immediately blame their neighbors? Probably not. There are no truths to be known about how human communities flourish, whether or not we understand these truths and morality relates to these truths. So, in talking about values, we are talking about facts. Now, of course, our situation in the world can be understood at many levels, from the level of the genome on upon to the level of economic systems and political arrangements. But if we are going to talk about human well-being, we are of necessity talking about the human brain, because we know that our experience of the world and of ourselves within it is realized in the brain, whatever happens after death. Even if the suicide bomber does get 72 virgins in the afterlife, in this life, his personality, his rather unfortunate personality, is a product of his brain. So, the contributions of culture, if culture changes us, as indeed it does, it changes us by changing our brains. And so therefore whatever cultural variation there is in how human beings flourish can, at least in principle, be understood in the context of a maturing science of the mind, neuroscience, psychology, etc. So what I am arguing is that values reduced to facts about the conscious experience of conscious beings, and we can therefore visualize a space of possible changes in the experiences of these beings. And from here I shall continue in the next episode again. Thank you.
For more videos, please subscribe to our Positive Atheism English Channel presented by Samaram channels, which has crossed more than 20 crore views. Please like, subscribe and share our videos, and for notification of our new videos, please click the bell icon.